Hey, what's up? I think you can hear me. I don't know. Just trying this live stuff. My jacked up microphone. Volume's up. Oh, I'm not sure this is working correctly. I might have to get out my mic. Okay, so what's up, guys? I'm just making this video real quick because I am freaking ecstatic about this new movie that's come out, Dragon Ball Super Broly. I kind of let this channel go and stopped paying attention to it just because life kind of hits you. But the movie has really kind of put the fire back in my heart. So let's just talk about the movie real quick. I've been a Dragon Ball fan since I, was a little kid. I had a dog when I think I was around maybe 12 or 13, and the dog was kind of yellowish colored, kind of golden colored, and it was real fuzzy and had spiky hair, and I called it Goku. So that just kind of gives you an idea of like where my, like how big of a deal Goku was to me. I named my dog after him. Also a huge fan of Gohan, and the series is great. That's all I'm trying to say. And I've been a fan for a very long time, and I think I feel pretty comfortable saying that of all franchises of ever, Dragon Ball is the one that really kind of I find the most awesome, and I love the most, and I'm the most loyal to. That being said, just to talk about the movie super fast, I'm gonna go into spoilers, but not yet. I'll warn you. So this movie kind of was announced a little bit after the show ended, which was like in May. And Dragon Ball Super is an awesome show. Dragon Ball Z is an awesome show. I highly recommend watching all of the Dragon Ball series if you're kind of looking for anime. I think there's like 300, 400 episodes, something like that total between Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super. You can probably skip GT unless you're really hardcore. It's not bad, but don't really recommend it. But that being said, back in, I think it was like 1997 or 98, I'm really not sure, forgive me if I'm wrong, but Brolly came out, the original Brolly movie, and that was during the Cell series. I originally watched it in Japanese. Here in Hawaii, anime was pretty popular. We have a pretty high Asian population, so we were kind of growing up more in touch with, Japanese anime and stuff. That being said, that movie was not actually my favorite Dragon Ball movie, nor was Broly my favorite character by any stretch. Not that I didn't think he was an engaging character, but he had a really kind of dumb, there's no way to really say it, but he had kind of a dumb backstory, and kind of his motivations and his character was really undeveloped and kind of unbelievable. But him being like this rage monster was something that was incredibly popular. If you follow Dragon Ball in the video games and everything, he's always there. He's always a big deal, So a lot of people love him. A lot of people, it's their favorite character, even though he's only been in a couple movies, And really only one of his movies was really good, and then one of them was pretty good, and the other one was kind of terrible. So that being said, like, he's not been shown a lot, but he's actually incredibly popular as well. Okay, so basically he was never what you would call canon. He wasn't in the main continuity of the anime. He was just kind of this like character from a movie, In Dragon Ball, there's like the main continuity, and then there's, there's like side stories that are kind of like not part of the main continuity. But what's happened is actually the Brolly was not originally created by Akira Toriyama. I forget the name of the guy, but he was created by this other guy who made the movie. And what's happened is Akira Toriyama, who's like the god of Dragon Ball, actually took on the character with Toyotaro, and they actually made Brolly into a main continuity character. And what Akira Toriyama has done is he's really kind of made him like a very integral part of the Dragon Ball Super kind of multiverse, where before he was kind of just like this kind of rage character. So I'm going to start getting into spoilers now. So, and I'm going to talk about the story and how I thought it was really great. So, spoilers warning, tune away if you don't want to hear anything about it. So the movie starts off, and Brolly is actually a little baby. And the idea is that King Vegeta, who's Vegeta's dad, sends him away, and he tells his dad, King Vegeta tells Paragus, who's Broly's father, that Brolly is like a danger to the Saiyan planet Vegeta, so that he has to send him away in order to keep the Saiyans safe. And just kind of fast forwarding, that was kind of ridiculous. And Paragus is like, that's so stupid. Like we could be, we could have like this super strong fighter. But Frieza, in the beginning, they showed him killing people who had higher power levels, just to kind of show the Saiyans, be like, look, I'm the big cheese. I'm in charge. I'm the head honcho. So don't mess with me. So he just goes ahead and straight up kills people without even thinking about it, that have relatively high power levels. So in a sense, King Vegeta was correct in the fact that he would have probably definitely killed Broly. And in another sense, King Vegeta was correct because he would have Broly would have been a danger to the planet because he's so strong that he could have, eradicated the entire planet by accident because he's like this monster. So that being said, it gave some layers to King Vegeta's character. He's never presented as like a good guy, so to speak, but he very much is presented as somebody who kind of makes sense within his own kind of reality and his own like perspective. Like what he does doesn't seem like it's illogical or crazy. That being said, he's not a good guy, so that's worth stating. Secondly, so that's kind of how they explain it, and then they also go into this really heartfelt part where they show Goku's dad, Kakarot's dad. I'm spacing out. His mom is Gine, and his dad is Bardock. And they show Bardock coming back from a mission. Bardock was kind of one of the only Saiyans who was kind of aware that Frieza had intended to kill all the Saiyans. So Bardock, he wasn't like sure enough where he tried to get away himself, but he was sure enough where he tried to send off his son. So he sent his son to Earth. And this is kind of a retcon in a way, because in the original Dragon Ball, they made it more like they sent Goku to Earth because he was pretty weak and he would have an easy time taking over that planet, because Earth didn't really have any strong fighters at the time. But what they did is they kind of made it into where Gine and Bardock kind of sent him off. And even Bardock, it was kind of interesting because they've always presented Saiyans as like these savage people who don't really care about their family, beyond what their family can do for them. Like King Vegeta loves his son because he knows his son is going to be super powerful. And Bardock really is uncharacteristic as a Saiyan because Goku showed no signs of being powerful, even though in the movie they kind of mentioned that he has like some latent ability that Bardock kind of was aware of, which they didn't really explain well. So that was like whatever. But either way, they tried to turn Bardock into this kind of humanized character who wasn't just like all out for himself and wanting to fight all the time, which was interesting. It engaged me emotionally, but in retrospect, I'm not super sure that it was like the best choice, That being said, it was awesome. I'm gonna just kind of skip ahead because I'm going pretty long here. I've kind of talked a lot about backstory. But in summary, I just want to say that if you are a Dragon Ball fan and you're afraid that the story will kind of mess up like the Dragon Ball universe, it definitely does change it. But I would say they did a really great job at kind of making everything fit together. So if that's kind of your concern, I would say it's not too bad. But the thing I really want to talk about is just the movie as a standalone anime, whether or not you're a Dragon Ball fan. So I just want to say that this movie, like, the animation was nothing short of spectacular. I don't think I'm kind of going off on a limb here when I say it in my opinion, is the most finely animated movie of all time. And I'm an anime fan. I watch pretty much everything, all of the major anime that comes out. You know, I probably spend about maybe an hour a day on average, maybe two, watching anime. So like 7, 8 hours a week at least, maybe probably more like 10 hours a week of anime watching I do. And I am trying to build authority, which I know is good, but the quality of the animation was just superb, beyond anything I've ever seen. They integrated new angles and new kind of like perspectives. They had a lot of first-person perspectives when you're fighting, which was really interesting, kind of coming from a gaming. It was like you were playing Counter-Strike or Fortnite or something, and you're like running around, like from Broly's perspective. The movie was very much Broly's movie. It was not Goku or Vegeta's movie. Like the story was a Broly story. Goku and Vegeta were there. Even Piccolo was there for a little bit, but it was Broly's story. And I think that was really great to kind of, while they include Goku, it wasn't like the Goku show, which I think really Dragon Ball is best when it's not the Goku show. I think it's really best when all of the characters have a stake and they all kind of are relevant, you know? And I think that's what really makes Dragon Ball a good show, because even though Goku is like an awesome character and he's a lot of fun and he's very unique, you don't really see it unless you put him against other characters. So that being said, you know, it was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I think it's superb, and I just want to urge you, if you haven't watched it yet, to go and watch it. It's really good. Here on Maui, anime is actually very popular, and I went and watched it on Wednesday, the opening night, and it was cool, like looking around, seeing all the other Dragon Ball nerds. But I wanted to take my nephew to watch it because he's also a Dragon Ball fan, and it's been like sold out for like the whole next week. They're not doing a ton of showings, but it's been sold out. I looked at Box Office Mojo, and it was the highest grossing film this week, even though it's only been open for 4 days, while other movies are open out of 7. I'm pretty sure it's gonna surpass a lot of the really big movies that are coming out in revenue. It's at about 70 million right now international, about 20 million for the US, but it will kind of increase because that's only considering Wednesday and Thursday. It's Friday today, so you know Friday gets the big numbers, and then the weekend. And like I said, it's sold out here on Maui, so I'm sure it will be sold out for a long time. They don't even have showings for a week from tomorrow, but I'm sure they are probably going to add some because people do want to see the movie. And I tried to buy tickets today, and they were pretty much sold out. There was like a stray seat here and there, but they're pretty much sold out until next Friday. So for this whole entire week, there's no tickets available. They may open up some more showings, and if they do, I'll probably grab that for me and my nephew, but that's just to give you an idea of kind of what's going on. And this movie is making a splash. I personally just want to urge you to go watch it in the theaters. I think that it's good to support movies like this and kind of show like the US like box office that, you know, these movies, there are people who want to watch them, and we want people to keep making them. And I'm very passionate about that. I'm going to close out, guys. This was kind of a rant-ish video, so I appreciate you watching it. I'll probably create a review that's a little bit more concise. This is just a stream. I'm trying to get back into it, but so look forward to that. Go ahead and subscribe. I'll probably keep posting anime, Dragon Ball, entertainment content, reactions, stuff like that as I, you know, move further along in this place. Finally, the last thing I want to say is you guys are probably wondering like where I'm streaming from. I'm kind of living out in the jungle in a shack these days. I'm blessed to have internet, but that's what I'm doing right now. I'm on Maui, Hawaiian boy, out in a shack living, kind of tribal. I don't really want a lot of my Maui friends to see this video. It's kind of inevitable that they will, but and for them to see how I'm living, I have no problem with it personally. But you know, I do business around Maui, so I don't want them to think I'm like a hobo or something. All right, man. So I'm gonna close this off. Thanks for watching this stream. Please subscribe. I will talk to you later. Aloha.